Amazon, though,
they do have a cloud business.
They do.
Are
but
they
like,
doing
what's
this
the
so that
top
they
line
don't
benefit?
lose? Are they doing this so they don't lose cloud business? Because the top line benefit, they do have an advertising business as well, but it works differently than Meta. And
Well, so the advertising business is interesting, right? It's actually really, really interesting, which is you could make the case that actually of the big three advertisers, which Amazon deserves to be in the big three, along with Google and Facebook, a distant third, but still like tens of billions of dollars a quarter, it might be the most threatened by AI. Because like because the Amazon advertising business is so. I complain about search relative to like Facebook ads. Like why do I like Instagram ads so much better than Google search ads? Instagram ads are showing me stuff I never would have known about otherwise. Google search ads are like, guess what? You have to buy your brand name on your search because someone else.
Well, that's the thing. Right? It's pretty extortive. And Amazon, I mean, AI, I'm sure
Amazon takes the extortive to the limit. Like
and it's based on what you plug into Amazon.
Yeah, you search on Amazon, and like 60% of the results are ads. And you click into one, it's like related items, all ads. Like it's so hard to even find an organic sort of. They're on there, but it's like everything is an ad on Amazon. And it's like,
and what's interesting to me is you don't need to spend $100 billion in CapEx to serve that business going forward. I don't think AI is going to be transformative to what they're doing in the search area. And then B, if fewer people are going to Amazon.com over the next 10 years,
that whole business
eat into what
that whole business is dependent on people going to Amazon and searching.
Yeah.
What is one thing that LLMs right now are really good at?
Searching,
doing research and giving you recommendations, and then having a link and you click on it and you go buy it. What you're not doing when you click that link is you're not starting from Amazon.com, putting in a search term and counting all these ads that you don't really know are ads and clicking on them and related products. That is so one of their, and this is an issue where if you think about, cash flow is important because we're spending all this money on CapEx. Where is Amazon's cash flow actually coming from? All the cash flow from their retail business comes from ads. Like that's why the retail business is profitable. If you took away ads, their retail business would lose money. And so one of their core drivers is fundamentally limited. The other thing is, for Amazon, you talk about, it's actually impressive how much Google has spent on GCP because it's a lower margin business than their core business. For Amazon, AWS is the high margin business. That's where they act. That's like, that was the big thing with the AWS IPO, the article I wrote like a decade ago. It blew people's mind. It's like, we thought this was a company making 5-6% margins. They're making 30-40% margins, right? And so it's just their high margin businesses are more limited. And so it's just a much more, and one of their high margin businesses, the advertising business, is threatened by AI to a greater extent, arguably, than some of their competitors. Now, in the long run, to the point, Amazon has no business being the sort of renter in the middle. That's what they do. If you're in a commodity business, the way you win is by having a sustainably lower cost structure. And so they AWS on an equivalent basis to Azure or GCP is cheaper to run for Amazon because they've done so much more optimization. They have this whole layer underneath called Nitro and a bunch of extensions on it. A lot of when you go to Amazon, you can buy specific instances, but a lot of times you're buying a service. Like you're using Redshift for a database. Redshift, rip off of Oracle. You're shifting away from Big Red. That's the name of it.
Great.
Yes.
They had fun with that one.
When you use Redshift, you don't necessarily know what processor you're using. What you're using by default is Amazon Graviton processors, which are their ARM processors, which, by the way, are way cheaper than an Intel processor.
To run, and they make more money. Okay, that makes sense.
Same thing. So this is the whole thing with Trainium. If you go to Bedrock, which is you can sort of the model library, you can easily use it. It's basically models as a service. And you run a model, by default, that's running on Trainium. It's not running on NVIDIA. And that's where they want to get to. They're like, we're good. The emailer's not wrong. They want to get to the world of your margin is my opportunity. in that we're fine running relatively low margin. We're going to have sustainably lower cost structures. And by the way, in the long run, you can make the case AWS is where you should run your AI workloads precisely because Amazon's not competing with you for supply, right? Like, what happened to Microsoft last quarter? It's like, yeah, we have tons of demand for Azure, but we diverted a lot of GPUs to our own business. That's right. It's like, if I'm an Azure customer, I'm like, wait, what? Like, why am I with you? You're taking stuff away, prioritizing yourself. That's going to be an issue for Microsoft. It's going to be an issue for Google in the long run. It's interesting.
It sounds like Amazon, part of what they're betting on is that most people who need AI capacity and workload capacity are not going to be needing leading edge transformative performance. And in that scenario, Amazon is going to be able to serve good enough performance cheaper and at a higher margin than any of their competitors.
Right. I think so. Like, and it's like, you're already on AWS. You don't want to go somewhere else. You're going to take like what's here. And over
that
time,
thesis actually makes a lot of sense to me in terms of where things will be 5 or 10 years from now, as more of this sort of permeates mainstream society and business.
Right. What the risk is to sort of get there is, number one, you have to build now for a few years down the road. Number two, like, your competitors are building, like, this is the part of the whole GCP thesis is, if Google has just by far the best AI, and by the way, they're doing all their own stuff too, so their cost structure in AI is probably better than Amazon's. So that's a challenge, and their performance is probably better. Maybe we should just move everything to GCP, and then like, so like, Amazon can't afford not to spend. Sort of.
So that explains why they're spending on NVIDIA in the short term here, perhaps. To make sure they don't lose people.
And I think they underspent on NVIDIA to an extent, and right now that's what people want. If they, like, especially on the leading edge, you can't. When they came along, AWS started in 2005 or 2006, sort of whatever it was. Processors since then have gotten much better and faster, but it's been roughly on a gentle increase, as opposed to like the 80s or 90s when every new generation of processors was just astronomically better. And of course you're going to upgrade immediately because the gains are so huge, even though it was super expensive, right? Like, relatively speaking, stuff was really expensive then. If you're on a level plane, that's the time for optimization. The concern I think a lot of observers have had with Amazon over the last few years is it's a little early to be running the optimization playbook in this space. And the increase in spending on NVIDIA, I think, is an acknowledgement that that's the case. Like, yes, we need to be investing in Trainium. In the long run, we want to repeat what we did with CPUs. In the meantime, we can't have people going somewhere else because they can actually get the leading edge.
Yep, because then the long-term plan kind of falls apart.